This is the new moon reading for the 10th of September, 2026, near Mauna Kea, Hawaiian Island, Hawaiian Kingdom in continuity. This is the reading for all Earth protectors who are considering the Mauna Kea as the level of their world, spiritual world. And we've been talking about that we are having an ongoing, extremely interesting constellation between the three outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. This triangle, yeah. So this is an ongoing theme. And when I talk about new moon always the time to set new intentions, to start new things. This is always a very fertile, spiritually fertile time when we use it right. So we have this still, yeah? And let me reset that, because here is our conjunction between Sun and Moon. And where is it? It's in Virgo. Virgo, the second Earth sign, where the element of Earth is in service to the ego, and that's harvest time. And we can see that it's already over mid-harvest. And we are having this conjunction, Moon and Sun, powerful point, yeah, in the 7th house. The 7th house is the house of partnership. And first of all, it's justice, like Libra, no? It's equivalent to Libra. And we're coming to Libra pretty soon. So here, the Earth is a partner to all life. Yeah, the Earth has nourishment, nurturing for every creature on this planet. And so Virgo time is harvest time. Virgo is a very rational, practical sign, also critical. I'll come to that. And there it's about, when we harvest, how do we store things? How do we distribute things? It's about really calculation. Yeah. And so that's what's happening. And what does this specific power wants to do best right now? Wants to go on stage here, 5th house. 5th house equivalent to Leo. Here's Leo. And aggressively with Mars. Here's Mars. We have Mars. Let me reset that. Here's Mars. Yeah, Mars in the 5th house, in a sextile to this beautiful conjunction that makes the new moon. Yeah, it's very precise, 60 degree, and so here, the lady who sits at the counter, who has this big ledger where she writes everything in and everything out of the storehouses, and where to, and the prices, and the weights, and all of that. That's, like big harvest time has to be done. All this freaking paperwork, all of this, Virgo theme. And now what is she doing? She says, let people see what I'm actually doing. I'm not fiddling my thumbs when I'm sitting on my office, at my office table, with this huge ledger. Today it's a computer, and I am as precise as possible. Report all the quantities, and then next to the quantities, of course, the qualities, the price, and. the addresses where it goes to. I mean, that's big work. That's Virgo work. And now she goes on stage and say, I'm doing this. And how does she express that? Yeah, what kind of act, what kind of theater play, what kind of song, what kind of performance does she want to do? She wants to do a performance to honor motherhood. Cancer. Yes, so the fifth house is in Cancer. There we can expect art. Fifth house is art, creation, in service of motherhood. So what she says, actually, is, I'm talking about Virgo here. I'm talking about this secretary, bookkeeper, watchmaker, precise, critical, rational, calculating being, as performing an act, a theater play, or a dance, or a song, all of the above, to show what she's really doing with all her rational, critical, sometimes cold calculation. She's running the household, the motherly. Yeah, so this is the relationship between Cancer as the sign of motherhood, home, yeah, homestead. What's growing in our gardens? What's growing in our backyards? Yeah, what's in our cellars? Now here we don't have cellars. What is our pantries? Yeah, how do we treat what we are harvesting? Now in Germany, where I come from, the harvest celebration is much more early than the Thanksgiving in the realm of the USA. Totally different thing. It's really the gratitude for what our Earth Mother is giving us. Yeah, then there's a certain time then that sometimes even animals are brought into the churches. All the bounty of the harvest, from grain to fruit to vegetable, whatever flowers, is displaced and blessed in the church. And in some places even the animals are brought in, the livestock animals, to be blessed. And so that's the harvest time of Virgo. And the motherly planning and precisely executing the storage and the distribution of this harvest is essential, of course, for survival, right? So it's a very motherly act. So that is very much the theme of this new moon. And now we are looking at something that is supposed to be the most rational influence, and that is Mercury. Mercury is extremely important, although quite far away from Sun and Moon, has ventured through Virgo already. Mercury is very, very happy in Virgo, thinking, clear, logical, precise thinking, and now comes into Libra, and Libra is the winter house of Venus and is a place of justice. From justice comes harmony, and from harmony comes beauty. And also is equivalent to the seventh house, where it's about partnerships, but also about enemies. Yeah. And now Mercury thinks about justice. There's this big family to entertain, family of men, or men and women here. The family, huh? So all the theme that Virgo is expressing on stage, how to support the family. Yeah, how do we feed all these mouths in the family, right? And how are we doing this justly? And that's the big theme. Why? Do you see this formation? I mean, it's so beautiful. These patterns, these cosmic patterns, they're so beautiful. Look at this. Here we have something. They call it the finger of God, right? So you see this. Let me reset that. Let me paint this for you again. Here we have Mercury, thinking deeply and as precisely as possible about justice. How to distribute things the right way, in a just way. And so here we have a Coinkungs to Chiron, and Chiron saying distribution of the Mother Earth's bounty that is unjust is causing what? Illness. And the illness is now coming, not only that majority of so-called civilized human beings are ill, many times from birth already. It's also our what the Americans so wrongly and respectlessly call soil or dirt. It's the earth. Yeah, that's what Chiron now is pointing out, as Chiron has just ventured from Aries, who says we got to do something actively, into Taurus, first Earth sign, and here's this. Mercury thinks about it. Mercury does not have a solution yet. It just knows, Mercury knows it has to be better than it was to heal our planet, our relationship with our planet, to understand that we are our planet. We are like cells in the body of our planet. And then on the other side, we have here in Hawaii, only here, yeah, we have this beautiful sextile between Chiron, we said that, between Chiron, and here's Chiron, the wounded healer, and the sign rising. And the sign rising is just at the very beginning of Pisces. And the karmic aim of the whole situation, what our souls want to intend right now, where this has to go to, is just, because the karmic aim moves this way, everything else moves the other way. But karmic aim has been for a long time been in Pisces, where the aim was actually to develop our spirituality, the transformation of the ego, not the delusion of the ego, the transformation into the higher self. Yeah, that was the whole theme of Pisces. And now, going into the karmic aim is going into Aquarius. People are saying age of Aquarius. Not yet, but it's very Aquarian-like, because it's now all of justice for the people. Justice is in Libra, the second air sign, but practical and future-oriented practical. It's going to be in Aquarius. And it's not. We are not facing an overall bloody revolution as the last time when Pluto went into Aquarius. That was a French Revolution, because now Pluto has this tight a positive angle to Neptune, the compassionate Neptune. Here's Neptune, and then also Uranus, where a lot of things can be solved not by violence, but by discussion, by understanding, by looking at the facts. So this is what's happening. And then in between, let me reset this, we have the finger of God, Chiron, karmic aim, ascendant, sign rising of the situation. And also, as it is the ascendant and its new moon, is also this this point here, where the circle with the cross inside, that is also the point where the karma is worked of best. And this is in conjunction always at new moon, right, with the ascendant. And here it's also almost in conjunction with the karmic game. So this is very, very potent. And here we have the other connection to, let me reset that, yeah, to Mercury. Mercury is a very deep thinker. So when comes a new moon, that night, go into some deep contemplation. And this deep contemplation centered around how to distribute the bounty of our Earth Mother in a just, sustainable, clean, non-toxic way. That's the big meditation. Yeah, that so that wherever we are, even if you're in a city, you have some flower pots on your windowsill, get yourself, as long as you still have electricity, some grow lights, grow something in your, even in the 10th floor or wherever you live, grow something, connect. And so this is the meditation for that particular new moon, to make the best out of it. Now, I told you many times before, whatever is blue here, and there's a lot of blue lines, is where the energy is very positive. So talking about Mercury, Mercury, just has done all this critical thinking in Virgo, coming with all this knowledge about what's there and what's not there, precisely. What should be there and isn't there, or what's too much, or whatever, So all this knowledge is now going into the space of justice, to balance it all out. And look at this. Here we have this beautiful kite. Here is Uranus. Uranus, the higher octave of Mercury, in conjunction with dwarf planet Sedna, who is reporting about how to overcome the subconscious, unconscious belief system of the necessity of self-sacrifice. And so she's reporting about that, and Uranus is magnifying that, and puts it in our face. Look at that. Look at this unnecessary cruelty that has been done so much to everything that's female for so long, and look what it has done to our planet. Poisons everything, so much illness everywhere. Yeah. So there's the report, and coming here from the 3rd house, which is equivalent to Gemini. Yeah, here's the 3rd house, and here is this conjunction. And so Uranus doesn't only make us think about these things, but gives us epiphanies how to overcome. And now look at this at the other side. Look at this beautiful triangle. Beautiful. So precise, so powerful. Here, Pluto, the grand transformer. It says, guys, gotta change. Our behavior has to change. The way how we consume things has to change. The way how we share things or hoard things it all has to change. And now when you see this triangle, then you have this benevolent triangle I've talked about in the very beginning on top of it, and you have a kite, or a bow and an arrow. Yeah, here is the bow, and you're pulling the string, and here's your arrow. The big opposition, right? Say, I painted dark, and where does it go to? It goes to Neptune, and Neptune is when difficultly aspected. The dreamer and the and it's also a movie maker, made up realities, delusions, illusions, but positively aspected, and he is so positively aspected from Uranus. Yeah, Uranus, other side, Pluto. Yeah, powerful. Compassion. And compassion. How and where? Actively, fiery, passionately compassionate. Yeah, that's what Mercury in Libra and the seventh house is thinking about. Let us talk about some friction. Here we have some friction. Yeah, so there you got to think a lot about Venus. Venus in Scorpio, and very close to Haumea. Now, I've told you many times before, Venus is not in charge of sexuality. She's not. And Haumea, draft planet, but named after a Hawaiian fertility goddess. And both of them in Scorpio, they're not happy there. It's like they're a little bit, like used like a sex object. Yeah, like in many of these dark is a so racist expression, but this death, I would call it death magic, blood magic, vampire magic. Yeah, where you don't create, you steal from other beings. You and wish stealing the blood, wish the killing, wish all these horrible things that's done ritually, and all this is the negative side of Scorpio. Yeah, it's an extreme abuse of the female. Well, they call it regenerative powers, but we are not regenerating because every birth is a unique being. Like, why are our fingerprints so valuable that they are taken everywhere? You even give you a signature with your thumb, with your fingerprint. It's because you're unique. Absolutely unique. So when we're talking about regenerative power, it's already a degradation of what it is actually. It's creativity, female creativity, life. Yeah. What is male creativity is like, okay, procreate, that's fun. Yeah, can be horrible if it's a rape. But real, bringing forth something unique, something new, something that has never been there before, a new human being. And probably, maybe an old soul has already had different bodies, different times, different places, and gets a new body, like a new dress or a new suit, or like, let's say, a new donkey. It's not only a dress, but it's also a vehicle. Yeah, to be able to be active and the third dimension, move things around from one place to the other, create things out of what is there. Yeah, the flour out of the grain, and the bread out of the flour. Yeah, it's all creation. And so this is what Venus is all about. And Venus is here also not only in Scorpio, but also in the eighth house. And the eighth house is equivalent to Scorpio. And the Scorpio energy is the what they call magic, is actually the conscious and intentional use of what they call regenerative powers, sexual energy, for creations other than new human beings. Yeah, that's magic. You want to create a certain outcome, and so you are using certain energies to influence that particular outcome. This particular little wind that suddenly blows and blows into a flowering tree, and all of a sudden a lot of flowers are raining on somebody who's just passing by. So this is a little beautiful butterfly magic. And if it was a death cult magic, it would be like a branch is falling on that person and hurting this person or killing this person. That would be the negative, outcome of a magical act or magical intent. Some people are huge incantations and ceremonies and whatnot. I think that all theater actually has its roots in these magical rituals that were created to influence our natural environment, making rain or dispelling rain, or leading the lava to flow elsewhere than into one's house. All of this, this falls into what we call magic and into the Scorpio. And here, Venus and Haumea in conjunction in the eighth house. And they're kind of misused. Yeah. The moment the female creative energy is used to hurt, to harm, it's a brutal misuse. And this is amplified. We have to look at it here through the square from Venus to Pluto. And then the opposition to Chiron, the wounded healer. I mean, how many illnesses do especially women suffer that are introduced to abuse, misuse, rape, false practices, and childbirth. All this, there's so much brutality in the medical system also against women, right? And all this now is surfacing. And so Venus also is telling a story, hey, I'm suffering here, yeah? And here we also have this square from Pluto to Chiron. And Chiron is just, sighing and reporting and say, hey, this can't go on. This is unbearable. This pain, this pollution, this poisoning, this whatever, this torture, it's unbearable. It cannot go on. Yeah. So there is a certain amount of suffering in our more sensitive nature, whether we're male or female. You're going to feel that. But, we have to feel it because otherwise we couldn't correct it. Because here, beautiful, 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 120-degree angle between Venus. Venus has backup. Venus and Haumea, they're suffering. They're suffering from abuse, but they have backup. Yeah, they may be suffering, but they're going to survive and even probably heal. yeah, and bring this into the coming generations where life is going to be organized way more just than it is now. No, it's not going to be heaven on earth, not paradise. No, 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 no. There will be still difficulties because otherwise we can't grow, can't we can't evolve without difficulties. But it will be a lot less uh, difficult and painful as it is now for the majority of humanity. Yeah. So here, beautiful. Venus informing the karmic aim. We gotta have justice now. Between the genders, very important. So that we can heal. Yeah, we have this. And so when there is a opposition, and we have three oppositions here. No? One opposition is between Venus and Chiron. Another is here between the medium curly, the place of the point of mission, and Uranus, Sadhana. They're in opposition. And the third is between Neptune and Mercury. So saying, hey, don't let your thinking become murky. Yeah, don't fall for Neptunian fog. Don't put on the pink glasses. You got to still think very clearly. Let me reset the paintings here. And now all this is a little bit, let's put it in insider job. Yeah, when we're dealing with partnership, we're dealing with the people closest to us, our life partners, our business partners, whoever we have dealings with, very very close to home, everything, yeah. And but then other than we say, okay, we're going on stage now, we're becoming demonstrative, we are demonstrating about what we are actually doing in the background, and often totally underpaid and not valued. What huge management work all that is. Yeah, talking about single moms with, 3-4 children, the management of the household, incredible. Yeah, all what has to be considered and not valued, undervalued. So this is coming, and this is going to be crucial. The relationship between the male and the female, balanced, yeah, is becoming crucial for our human survival. Yeah, that none of the two traits are domineering. Yeah, not too much male, not too much female. Be it balanced. We need both. Yeah, and as long as one is domineering the other, there's abuse, there's misuse and disharmony, and out of that comes illness for the bodies and for the whole earth. Okay, what have I left out? I don't think so. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the mission of that. What's the mission? Here's the mission. Midheaven, medium curly. That's what MC stands for. It's like the 12 o'clock point of the whole reading here, of the whole chart. And so that is the beginning of the 10th house, and the 10th house is profession, mission, vocation, and is equivalent to Capricorn. Yes, Capricorn. And but there is almost nothing No, it's Sagittarius. It's in Sagittarius. Sagittarius, I call him the philosopher, the keeper of the sacred flame. And the point is not directly connected with Mercury, but there's like, the thinking, all the facts together in a beautiful pattern becomes a philosophy or a religion. And that's what Sagittarius is all about, the bigger picture. Sagittarius is always about the bigger picture, while Gemini, opposition to, and Virgo, critical thinking, is about the details. And the philosopher sees everything together and gives his opinion or hers, while the reporter is just reporting facts here in Gemini. And so here, at the end of the 10th house and Sagittarius, we have Lilith. Now, Lilith, the dark moon. Here's Lilith, yeah. And she stands for female rebellion. And the influences she gives into the bigger picture are not very strong. You see that the lines, 2 blue lines, 1 sextile to the karmic aim and part of fortune. And then the next one is here, yeah. They're thin. So that influence, and here too is a thin line. So this is a very unprecise, a very not precise angle, here 60 degree and here 120 degree. And then here to Mercury. Oh, it's as if she's like, she's standing on some peak in some mountain area, and there's fantastic echo, and she is always yelling, don't make the bill without the host. Yeah. She's protesting. She's rebellious against the difficult work of a just household management of family resources, of land. Yeah. She is rebellious that this is not seen well enough. And she's like always poking, say, hey, don't forget that, don't forget that, don't forget that, don't forget that. There was a time in the feminist movement, I think that's the first time when I really started to loathe and reject money, when the feminists said, okay, whatever is a mother, a woman, a wife and mother doing in the family, if she's not quote unquote working, yeah, and if all these things that a woman and mother managing a household is doing, yeah, put a price tag on it, and no man would be able to, or hardly any man could marry to afford this. So all that is considered unpaid labor. It's not valued, although all the political systems we know today, whether it's capitalism or communism as the two extremes, is based on this unpaid labor. Yeah, that even women, when they're single mom, they even have to pay for themselves. First of all, they get less money for the same things that men do. Then they have to come up with paying for babysitters and all this when they go to work. Yeah, they have to often battle for child support from the fathers of their children when they're separated from them, and all of that is tremendous. Yeah. So Lilith says, hey, whatever it is, if this is not fully acknowledged and seen, yeah, we're on stage, yeah, I'm gonna rebel. Yeah. No matter how clear are your thoughts, they have to become clearer. That's what she says. Yeah. So actually, we are actively, yeah, working on a new kind of philosophy. Yeah, and here it's not a strong triangle, but here we have Jupiter in the sixth house. Sixth house is equivalent to Virgo, and it's the house of service. All these boring. Just I cannot imagine a more boring profession than a bookkeeper. Calculating numbers the whole freaking day. So horrible. Yeah, but it's somehow necessary. Yeah, and so Jupiter, the king of in old Greek mythology, the king of the gods. Zeus, yeah, Jupiter in Latin, Zeus in Greek. The Romans, they took over the whole Greek pantheon and religion, just renamed it, but it wasn't their original invention. They took it from the Greek. So this is in Leo, and Leo is where the fire is in service of the ego. So the Leo is king or queen. But here, as it is in the sixth house, and very, very positively aspected, is in service of the king or queen is in pure service for his or her people. It's not the other way around. And that's a beautiful thing. That's a new thing, yeah. And supported here in with Saturn in the second house equivalent to Taurus, first earth sign, and second house and Taurus. There it is about land, really property, what they call now property. And Saturn is now urging us, because Saturn is very beautifully aspected, and also in conjunction with 12th planet Liliakuhunua, which is symbolized in a flock of birds who never, migrational birds who never rest until they found home. Yeah. Ongoing flying, and don't settle anywhere else. You go home and then you rest. That's a spiritual challenge also, yeah. But here it is supporting very much the Hawaiian land back movement. Yeah. And land back for the stewards, not the exploiters, not the landlords, not the slumlords, not those who are using their property that they have a title for as junkyards or as bringing in money in form of rentals or what have you. Yeah, golf courses or unnecessary stupid things. Not those. Yeah, that is really land back, really for those who actively, passionately are about to heal that piece of land that is given to their responsibility. In Hawaiian called kuleana. Kuleana, double meaning of a piece of land and responsibility. That's deep. So this is rooted here, and certain themes they are pointed out in a chart in different ways. The other is here, Chiron. Chiron says, "Hey, heal the earth. Look at what you call dirt or soil, or you're going into Walmart or wherever and you're buying potting soil, and what are you bringing with the potting soil? You're bringing these beetles, these coconut beetles that are destroying instead of growing something that feeds us, what feeds us is destroyed through what is bought, because you just go there unconscious, buy that thing, bring it in, instead of really knowing what the earth wants, how we make compost, all of that, yeah, how we treat the earth lovingly, instead of a property, that is supposed to bear fruits in form of money. Yeah. Okay. Let me stop right here. I hope I have not left anything out.